It's that feeling. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Hold on a second. We're having some problems. I'm supposed to be on the screen, guys. Hey. Hey. Good morning, everyone, man. Beautiful morning. Beautiful. Not really, actually. Kind of a shit day, weather-wise. Did you pull a fire alarm at the Spurs hotel? No. I would never do such a thing, man. Never. Undefeated season starts now. What a slate of games last night. Pistons, Pacers, Rockets, Hornets was amazing. Yeah, they were. No, we're streaming games on playback.tv/slightly biased. Playback.tv/slightly biased. It feels very good to be back, man. Thoughts on the Intuit Dome? We'll get into it in a second. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about. I have a lead here. A lead. Not going to spend too much time on the Rockets Hornets game because I'm actually doing a video about it. Are you streaming the game tonight? I'm going to the game. I'll not be streaming tonight. I'll be in the building. Little hype video by the for the Mavs.
A rebel, a challenger, a risk taker. The one who believes in the power of the underdog. Blazing his own trail, refusing to conform, daring to be great.
No mercy for the guy, man. Let's go together. 1, 2, 3, together.
Doncic. As he loses one into Lively. Washington.
Get me in there.
Dancing, prancing, pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Domination by the Mavericks.
Each chapter
I want to be
brings
involved.
new challenges.
Wait.
We've defied expectations, shattered records, and redefined what it means to play for this city. This time, everything is up for grabs, and we always gonna stand on business.
I want to be involved.
Great.
No mercy for the guy, man. Let's go together. 1, 2, 3, together.
Doncic. As he loses one into Lively. Washington. Dancing, prancing, pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Domination by the Mavericks.
Each chapter brings new challenges. We've defied expectations, shattered records, and redefined what it means to play for this city. This time, everything is up for grabs, and we always gonna stand on business. The Maverick.
I'm sold. I didn't care about this Mavs season until I saw that. The Dallas Mavericks. Ho, 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 ho. Does the mic sound weird? Does my audio sound off? Let me hear for myself. Oh no. I fucked up a setting, guys. Before the stream started. This is going to be a bit of a scuffed stream, just admittedly. I accidentally did normal latency. So you guys are about 20 to 30 seconds behind. So, unfortunately, the chat's not going to be as up to date. And also, unfortunately, I can't change it midstream. So, whatever. We're just going to power through this one today. Hey, it's all right. Hey, early season jitters. Early season jitters. I'm probably not going to read too much of the chat because it's going to be strange because I'm going to be sitting here. No, I see the message as soon as you send it. You won't hear me respond to it for another 30 seconds. Got a nice little Lonnie that I'm sipping on. Hey, a little witch's brew, my little elixir for tonight. Gonna have a great time. We got a lot to talk about the NBA last night, folks. It's back. It's in full swing. We're all excited. We're all happy. We all love it. We're all just filled to the brim with excitement. I'm oozing with it. Literally oozing, folks. Just reopen streams. I don't want to do that because then I have to end this stream, start a new one. I've already tweeted out the link. Uh-oh. This offseason felt quick as fuck. Well, for the Mavs, it literally was the quickest offseason you could have. That much is true. That much is true. I'm upset about this. I'm upset about the chat situation. It's kind of thrown me off my game, but this is what winners do. Winners prevail. Winners work, baby. Winners work. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fresh off of one of the best nights of the year, the first Wednesday night of the NBA season, the night where there are 7-8 games, and us real sickos, not the casual fans, us real sickos can dive deep into the Pacers and Pistons, can dive deep into the Hornets and Rockets. I said yesterday Hornets and Rockets was my most anticipated game. And I wasn't even saying that. I feel like when people say shit like that, it can come across very performative. Like, oh, look how much basketball I watch. You guys are worried about the Bucks, Sixers. I care about the Hornets, Rockets. But I'm actually being dead serious. Whenever I say that the Hornets, Rockets was my most anticipated game, I was high on the Rockets coming into the season. I always think the Hornets are a team that can be fun to watch as long as they're healthy and not running children over with their cars, leaving the stadium, or doing even worse things that I don't want to say, but you know who I'm talking about. Or healthy, as long as they're healthy. And they were fun to watch last night. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because shameless self-plug. I'm going to be posting a video about that later today, about that game and how fun this Hornets team might be to watch. So I'll save my opinions on that. But we had quite a bit of interesting little subplots and storylines last night. The Clippers' new stadium opened up, and we got a great game there. Overtime. James Harden is just in his little paradise. James Harden, cheeseburger in paradise. No, that's not nice. But that was a fun game. Great way to open up a brand new stadium. Grizzlies They're one of the more highly anticipated teams of the season. What's gonna go on with the Grizzlies? Are they gonna be back 2, 3, 4 seed in the Western Conference? Are they a Western Conference contender? John Morant made some incredible plays last night. Zach Edey had some rookie moments. We'll talk about that game a little bit. But I kind of want to start with what I think could be one of the more important things to watch as we move forward throughout this NBA season. The Orlando Magic absolutely blast the Miami Heat on opening night, 116-97. Didn't even really feel all that close. The Magic win the third quarter, 39-18. The Miami Heat looked out of it. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo both had horrendous performances. 1 of 5 from the field for Bam Adebayo. 1 of 8 from the field from Jimmy Butler. It looked like a classic Jimmy Butler regular season. Which is a little underwhelming and disappointing because we were kind of promised that that was not going to be what happened. But unfortunately, it was. But here is the most consequential event. Paolo Banchero was phenomenal last night. He was phenomenal. 33 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, 12 of 24 from the field. His running mate, Franz Wagner, you guys know how much I love Franz Wagner, 23 points, 3 of 6 from 3. The 3-ball looked good. He looked confident when shooting it. That was a big thing for him. I mean, what was he, 20% from 3 last season? And that doesn't even really do it justice because in the last 4 or 5 months, it was 18%. So let's look at Paolo. We're going to bring up some clips here on the YouTube stream if you're listening to this in podcast form, which if you're in the YouTube stream, you can listen to it in podcast form if you would like, over on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Except I think it's only on Spotify currently, but we're working on it. We are working on it. God, his game is so good. I'm telling you guys, the reason why I'm so in on this Magic team potentially being really good, even though I did pick them to finish, I think, what did I pick them? 6th in the Eastern Conference, which some people thought was a little low, is Paolo Banchero. Why I'm so high on their ceiling moving forward and why I'm just high on this duo. You have 2 big, supersized forwards in Paolo and Franz. Paolo is such a massive human being, and he's strong, he's big, he's skilled, and he uses that to his advantage. Last year, it was a good year for him. He was great in the postseason. That was a big step forward for him, I think. But also a lot of the concerns for him was his efficiency, right? Takes some inefficient shots, just misses. Some bad turnovers here and there as well. But last night really felt like what a peak Paolo Banchero could look like. A 6'10", massive human being who is incredibly skilled, who gets to his spots, can play off ball, can play on ball, and is also a very strong and capable playmaker. Now, I'm looking at these highlights. Why are there so many misses? Can we get the misses off? It's kind of going against what I'm trying to say right here as we're staring at Paolo Banchero turnovers and misses from last night. There weren't many, but the few that he did have we're looking at. He does have a little, there is some Tatum, Jaylen Brown vibes with this duo right here with Franz and Paolo. Sort of similar things. Both really big players who can defend at a high level. A player being this big, being able to get to his spots. He's got a deep bag, on ball, off ball offensively, plays great defense, playmaking. It's a rare thing in the NBA. And the Celtics just won with a pair of forwards very similar to this. So it's just something to watch over the course of a season. When I did my top 100 list, somebody asked me who outside of my top 15 had the best chance of getting to the top 5, I think. And I did say Paolo Banchero was the guy because you see it all right there. The skill set required to reach the top 5. He has all of it. It's just finding that efficiency, getting more comfortable, and just more playmaking reps. All of these things are going to contribute to him taking a ginormous step forward. He was an all-star a year ago. I think All-NBA could be a thing this year, especially if the Magic are a good basketball team. And they did look really good last night. I mean, this was a Heat team that looked pathetic out there. Genuinely, they looked awful. The Heat did. Going through the motions, the second half was just a disaster. Paolo's hitting threes off the screens. He's talking shit immediately after. I'm bought in. I'm here. Little spin move, getting downhill with that size. You got to foul him. It's very, LeBron-esque when he gets downhill like that. It's just a player that big and strong. There's only so many different things that you can do to stop him. And that thing is typically fouling. So, something to monitor as we move forward through this NBA season is Paolo Banchero's potential leap into superstardom. He's got all the tools. Every single one of them. Look at that little behind-the-back pass that he had to Franz as well. Getting the little binoculars afterwards. I mean, those are the plays I'm talking about. He's been a good playmaker since he entered the league. He has some stupid turnovers from time to time, but playmaking's always been in his bag. Playmaking has been in Franz's bag. KCP was 0-5 in this game. 3 points. Looked really good defensively. Didn't even hit a shot. They put up 116 and they win by 20 or 19 points. I feel like I might have been a little bit low on this Magic team, putting them 6th in the Eastern Conference. I didn't really want to do it. It's just how it shaped up for me, but they're definitely a team that can finish as high as the 3 seed and could even make a push for the 2 seed. I don't think that's really outside of the realm of possibility, as crazy as it might sound. They're another one of these teams. I talked about this on my stream last night, my playback stream. These teams, last year, the Boston Celtics were the only team in the NBA to attempt 43s a game. I think they're at 42 or something like that. The only team in the league. In preseason, 16 teams did it. Now, that's preseason. You don't want to look too deep into that. But so far this season, teams are letting that shit fly. And the Magic put up 49 three-point attempts last night. This is a team that you don't really think about being a three-point shooting team, but if Paolo's going to be shooting 8 threes, we saw this with Anthony Edwards as well. These superstars that aren't like usually high-volume three-point guys, we might start to see a shift there. Anthony Edwards, he said that he's going to shoot more threes. Paolo might shoot more threes. I guarantee you, the Thunder tip off tonight, their opening game of the season. I guarantee you Shea is going to shoot more threes this season than he has in year past. Now, I had the Cavs and the Pacers over the Magic. I had the Sixers in the play-in tournament, thank God. I read that situation immediately. 28 assists as well for the Magic. They're moving the ball well. Anthony Black looks good. This is somebody who could be somebody to watch over the course of the season. If he takes a second-year leap, looks more comfortable on the basketball court, he's somebody who could get really big minutes for them, as in closing time, potentially, if they need that playmaking on the court, because I do think he's their best playmaker there. I think he's the best playmaker that they've got. And, I mean, in the year of our Lord, 2024, Gary Harris is out there going 6 of 9 from 3. I mean, Gary Harris has been in trade rumors for this Magic team since he got here. Every trade window, trade deadline or offseason that passes and Gary Harris is still on the Magic, it's like, oh, okay. They're keeping him, huh? All right. Hey, good for Gary Harris then. But this Magic team, they have a nice look about them. They look like a serious team. I mean, they were a serious team a year ago, but something about them last night. The way that they composed themselves, the way Paolo played, looked like they had 2 stars on the court. That's just something about them. They might be fucking good, guys. They might be a really good basketball team this year. And they played that incredible defense. I mean, Jimmy Butler was a non-factor in this game. Again, 3 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Come on, Jimmy. Come on, man. Bam Adebayo was 1 of 8. I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler was 1 of 8. Did I say he was 1 of 5? Bam Adebayo was 1 of 5. Those two combined for 2 made baskets. But something else to monitor. 26 minutes for Bam. I talked about this in the preseason. I talked about this a little bit in the preseason for Bam in his trends in the last 20 or so games of the season last year, where he was attempting at least a 3 a game. 2 3-pointers last night. He didn't make them, but he attempted 2 of them. He's trying to extend his game a little bit, which is interesting. We'll see how it pans out for him. And Terry Rozier, I saw Heat fans were starting to get incredibly frustrated by Terry Rozier. I saw somebody in their subreddit was like, are we ever going to get a game from Terry Rozier where he shoots over 40% from the field? No. No, you're not. Okay. That is a Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero backcourt is objectively pretty hilarious. I thought if we're going to talk nicely about the Heat, I did think that Jovic had a couple of nice moments, and I'm very intrigued by him as a player. I mean, in a game where they got blown the fuck out, he was at 0. He had a 0 on-off in a game where they lost by 21 or 19 points. And again, that score really wasn't as close as it felt. I thought he had some nice plays. 1 of 7 from 3. I mean, the Heat as a team shot 32% from 3. But I don't know. Do we take too much away from this opening game? For the Magic, I would say yes. Very encouraging. I mean, if Paolo's really taking this leap, 30 years is where we start to see it from these guys. If Paolo's taking a true top 15-ish player in the league leap, then yes, this Magic team, the sky is the limit for them. I think they might need some more playmaking, and Franz is just really going to have to lock in. But they're a team that is like scary in the playoffs even, not just... I'm not saying they can be a 2-seed or a 3-seed. I'm saying they can make a legitimate run in the postseason with their size, with their defense, and just having 2 do-it-all forwards. That is a recipe for success. So that was one of the more interesting games of the night last night. It was the one that stuck out to me the most. And they're little big-to-big passing, too. Wendell Carter with passes. Wendell Carter played really well in this game as well. Always interesting. Great opening night for the Magic. Where do we go to next? Do we go to the Intuit Turbo Tax Dome? The Intuit Turbo Tax Dome opened up last night, and it looked pretty damn sick. I mean, I saw a Mavericks preseason game there, so I've already seen it on TV, but it does look pretty cool. There was some interesting and funny little gimmicks that they were doing. Yeah, Franz and Paolo barely even played in that game, and they still put up those numbers just because of how big of a blowout it was. So the Intuit Dome had quite a bit of funny little gimmicks. Of course, they have the wall, and the wall is something serious. What did the Suns shoot from the free throw line in this game? There was a stretch where the Suns missed, it felt like 4 or 5 consecutive free throws. 73%. All right, they must have locked in at the end. But there was for most of this game, they were in the 60s from the free throw line. The wall might be something serious, guys. I mean, it's a sick looking arena. The scoreboard is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, look at this thing. I truthfully feel the Cowboys Stadium is similar. If you've ever been to a Cowboys game, you know what I'm talking about. Where it is unquestionably distracting. With how big it is. It's hard to keep your eyes off of it. This is a similar type of ordeal here. No matter where you are in the arena, you can look up and you get a sick view of this little, what would you even call this? Jumbo circle, it's a circle screen? I mean, it's not really a Jumbotron. Here's a clip of the wall right here. Obviously the gimmick here, in case you're unaware. Steve Ballmer wants to build this sort of college atmosphere, sort of European football atmosphere at these Clippers games. It's a little bit unfortunate that their roster is decimated and they're probably not going to be good this season. But they track how loud you've been. They tracked how often you're on your feet. And apparently you get rewarded if you're a really hype fan, and you get punished if you're a quiet fan. I don't know how that works. I said it would be interesting. My big idea for Steve Ballmer, if you want the wall, which is directly behind the basket that the Suns or the opposing team will shoot at in the second half. But you want to really raise the stakes, and you want people in the wall to be bought in, locked in, cheering, loud, proud, and rowdy. Here's what you do. You build a trap door underneath their seats. And you straight up tell them, if the Clippers lose this game, the trap door opens. And we're not telling you where you end up. He's one of the richest people in the world, folks. He can figure it out. He can figure out the legalities. Okay? That's not a problem. Alex with the $2. Personally, I got the Mavs going at 82-0. It's possible, man. It really is. They haven't lost yet. So, they're 82ths of the way there. Yeah, they need to add some flares. I don't think that would fly in American sports, though. The flares that you see in the European basketball games and shit. How is that healthy? I mean, there's got to be cancer. I mean, that just has to be cancer entering your body immediately, right? I'd have to imagine. But Kevin Durant did have an interesting quote after the game where he basically said it was cool. It was kind of tough to play against. Again, it's unfortunate that this team's probably not going to be uber competitive this season because this type of atmosphere in a postseason setting would be unbelievable. But maybe, maybe. I joked around earlier at the top of the stream that, man, James Harden was just living his best life. James Harden was living his best life last night. It's just this kind of low-risk team. He's living in Los Angeles where he wanted to be. And just the ball's in his hands every single time down the court. Just living his dream. Kevin Durant, I'm playing at Intuit Turbodome. Incredible. I loved it. I absolutely love the wall they got. It's insane. Steve is doing a great job with this franchise. He compared it to Oklahoma State. I mean, when you see it, I would love to go in person. When you see it on the screen, it is. The way that the arena is built, it's like built upwards. The seats are built upwards. It's not like you have a row, it kind of goes back, a section, it kind of goes back, and then on top of it, you have a section that kind of goes back. Then on top of that, you have a section that kind of goes back. It's just built upwards. So it feels like the fans are kind of directly over you. Looks sick. But let's talk about this game, though, because this was maybe the best and most entertaining game of the night and some interesting storylines as well in this game. The Suns, we're excited to see how this Suns teams look. They've all last year was a disappointment early on in the offseason. They had a great offseason, but people were hesitant. But as we've gotten closer to the season starting and ultimately the start of the season, people have really started to buy in on this Suns team and really starting to hype and gas them up as a team that can be dangerous in the Western Conference. And I do think that they could be dangerous in the Western Conference. New look offense with Budenholzer. And right off the rip, I got to say, I thought they played pretty well. Tyus Jones, I thought, had a really nice game. And you can just see immediately how him being on the court is going to help out this offense tremendously. Right? Let him handle the playmaking duties. Let him create. Now, the interesting part of that, though, is I think defenses are going to be okay with him trying to create offense for himself and scoring, which is why you saw Kevin Durant, who did finish this game with 17 shots, but for a huge chunk of this game, felt like he was not really involved at all. Devin Booker fouled out of this game, only got 32 minutes, attempted 9 shots. So that's just interesting to watch. Early season offensive stuff. I mentioned this yesterday when we talked about the Knicks. Early season offensive stuff. Early season offensive stuff that you kind of have to throw out the window. These things take some time to gel. And I do think there will be a time when these guys are clicking. Another team, the Suns, they didn't get to 43s. They were well on their way to 43s. But then when crunch time came around, this will be the interesting subplot of the season. When teams like, we're going to get to 43s. We're going to get to 43s. That's what we want. We want to shoot 43s tonight. That's what the analytics say we need to do. When it gets to the fourth quarter and crunch time, and it's like, okay, maybe not. Kevin Durant, can you please hit tough-ass jumper after tough-ass jumper to save us? Which he did. That shot that he hit to tie the game, oh my God, what a tough bucket. Just a tough-ass shot by Kevin Durant to send that game to overtime. It was good help, too. I'm going to go back and look at it. I'm trying to remember who it was that helped, but it was good help. Just an unbelievably difficult basket. And they got big shot after big shot. It's an encouraging sign if you're a fan of the Suns, because this was shockingly one of the worst clutch teams in the NBA last season, and they were hitting clutch shot after clutch shot. Now, and also their defense was ramping up. It benefited them that James Harden just completely shit all over himself at the end of this game. I mean, we were joking in the stream. We were going down with this ship. Harden was like a drunk captain steering the ship into the iceberg. Just taking so much water. Turnover, terrible shot, 33-foot bomb for no reason. But he did make plays when it mattered most, and in overtime, he tried to will them to a win. He made plays, I would say, from about the 8-minute to 2-minute mark in the fourth quarter. It was a James Harden disaster. And then the last 2 minutes to get the game to overtime, he played pretty well. The third quarter for him was great. 28 shots, 10 of 28. Again, I think he's living his best life. I think this is a dream for him. 8 assists, 8 turnovers, 29 points. I know I said you kind of have to toss away some of these early season offensive things for these teams because these things will change. It'll be more smooth. I will say the two-man game between Zubac and Harden is serious. I said that before the season started. It's going to be one of the most efficient plays in the league. At the end of the season, when we look at efficiency numbers, you can look at pick-and-roll duos and stuff like that. Zubac and Harden will be towards the top of that list. Zubac had 21 points. He's got that lethal little hook shot. I mean, Harden, of course, is a pick-and-roll maestro. So those two will play well alongside one another. But outside of that, especially if Kawhi is out and he's going to miss several weeks at this point, this is going to be a bad offense, man. Just no two ways around it. They're good defensively. We saw Derrick Jones Jr., who had a good game in this, obviously former Maverick legend. He played really well. He played some really, really good defense on Kevin Durant as well, as good a defense as you could hope for. It's just offensively, it's going to be a struggle for this team at time. Norman Powell was inefficient last night, 5 of 16. For him, it's really just the playmaking for others isn't really there. You know, he can hit some tough shots and he can pull some shit out of his ass from time to time. But really, Kevin Porter Jr. was awful last night. I mean, you hate to see it, right? But Kevin Porter Jr. sucked last night, and they actually need him to be good. Like this isn't a Kevin Porter. Hopefully he's all right. Like we got him for nothing. It's a low risk. They actually need him to be really good basketball player this year to achieve things because offensively, it can just be a little bit rough. They were 27% from three. They turned the ball over 21 times. The Suns turned the ball over 22 times. It was rough for the Suns at times as well, offensively. A lot of that was the Clippers' defense. They're going to be a good defensive unit. Bradley Beal, I thought, played really well. 8 of 12, 24 points. Played his role perfectly. Hit some really big shots down the stretch of this game. So if he's bought into a role like that, and yeah, that's somebody in the chat just made a really good point that watching that Clippers game. I mean, Amir Coffey was hitting some Mickey Mouse ass shots in this game as well. So even then, even with 113 points and kind of an inefficient offense, they were hitting some very, very difficult shots as well, which I think is a little concerning. Only because if the offense looked like it struggled that much at times, and we still had some very difficult makes, what does this mean moving forward? We shall see. I'm not high on this team, obviously. They need Kawhi Leonard back, but they need Kawhi Leonard of 2019 back. And guess what? He ain't walking through that door. Okay? He's just not walking through that door. What other games? Again, Rockets, Hornets, I thought was one of the more entertaining games, but I'm going to make a video about that on the channel, so I'm not diving too deep into that one. Bucks and Sixers, just full transparency, I barely paid any attention whatsoever to this game. Embiid and Paul George being out just pretty much killed the excitement for me. Bucks take care of business. Dame played really well. I did see that. 30 points for him, 9 of 19, 6 of 12 from 3. Giannis, 25, 14, and 7 on 8 of 11. Taurean Prince had a great game. I did see that Taurean Prince played really well, and that's big, obviously, with Chris Middleton missing time and probably going to be in and out the lineup over the course of the season. They need somebody else to step up. And on top of that, when Chris Middleton is back, having a guy like Taurean Prince off the bench is nice because this is a Bucks team that has really struggled depth-wise in recent years. So if somebody like Taurean Prince steps in, That'll be really, really big for them. I do think this Bucks team is going to be a good basketball team this year. But, again, opening night, no Embiid, no Paul George. I mean, what do you even take away from this shit, genuinely? Tyrese Maxey was 10 of 31. But that's not – you're just asking too much. Too much is being asked of Tyrese Maxey. The league is investigating Joel Embiid for missing this game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the hell to make of all of this. I don't know. This is what it's going to be all season long. Not being ready for opening night. I'm sorry. Not being ready for opening night is fucking crazy, man. How are we not ready for opening night? What are you ramping up to? What are you ramping up to? I think that I picked them to be in the play-in only because I knew that they would be easy, would take it easy with Joel Embiid. I know that's what they should do, by the way. Joel Embiid, 50 games. Let's get to the playoffs with him healthy. But how do you miss opening night? Like, I'm talking, it's December 14th. We're playing the Pistons. Embiid's sitting tonight. I don't know, opening night, ESPN against the Bucks. Embiid's ramping up. What the fuck does that even? At least with Paul George, I saw him damn near lose his leg in the preseason last week. Jesus. Pacers and Pistons was interesting. And we got to talk about my boy Cade Cunningham, who had a great third quarter in this game. I thought he had a great game in general, but a very, very good third quarter where he was showing all of the things that we've been waiting to see from Cade Cunningham, the things that I've been telling you are there. You know what? I'm done with you, ESPN. Goodbye. Good riddance. The Pacers do end up pulling out a win because the Pistons shit all over themselves at the end of this game. If the Pistons were in control, felt like the Pistons had a chance to pull out a win, but alas, it was not meant to be. But Cade Cunningham, in the third quarter of this game, just the third quarter alone, 18 points on 8 of 9 shooting. Tough bucket after tough bucket. He is a tough bucket getter. That is something that he does not get enough credit for. 28 points in the game, 10 of 23 from the field, 8 assists, only 2 turnovers. Again, I really do think that he's going to have a very impressive season this year, and it's going to be breakout worthy. Now, I don't think this is going to be a great Pistons team. Okay, they looked better last year than they did, or this year than they looked better last night than they did for pretty much all of their games last year. But this was a recipe they had a year ago, where I've mentioned this before. Their losing streak was so bizarre because they're too talented. Oh my God, that dunk was insane. They're too talented to lose as many games as they did. In a lot of their games, when you have a losing streak that bad, you just assume you're so shit and you're losing every game by 15, 20 points. They had so many games they lost by 6, lost by 5, lost by 4, and ran the game up until the very end and just let it slip out of their grasp. And that's what we saw last night. Again, this was a frantic and weird game. A lot of whistles, a lot of fouls, a lot of stoppages, turnovers, sloppiness. And the Pacers made the plays down the stretch that they needed to make. So you got to tip your cap to them. Beautiful spin move and a crafty finish by Cade Cunningham right there. I mean, he's a very good basketball player, folks. And I just can't wait for the Pistons to just improve, so people can really tap into what Cade Cunningham has in his bag. I don't think it's really fair when people compare him to Luka Doncic, which is what I've seen people Luka Doncic light. But there are serious similarities in their game. The size, the playmaking, the individual skill. It's obviously not at the level of Luka, but I do think their skills are a little similar in a way. Obviously, I don't think Cade is the generational playmaker and has the generational court vision that Luka has, but it's generational for a reason, Luka's. But there's similarities in their game. I thought Ivy had some interesting moments. I mean, he's so quick. That first step. If there's enough spacing, if they figure out the spacing and Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey aren't playing in a phone booth, Ivy's first step is so quick, man. He's going to get so many good looks at the rim. I thought Duren played really well in this one as well. 13 points, 13 rebounds. And I do think he played pretty well defensively. That's the big concern for Duren, where we need to figure out if he's a center that you can actually win basketball games with. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit the first 2 threes of the game. Tobias Harris, I thought, played some pretty good defense in this game as well. You got to give him some props for that. Malik Beasley hit a couple big shots, but again, they didn't have enough at the end, and the Pacers do pull out. What was an ugly win? The Pacers didn't look great here. Tyrese Halliburton looked terrible last night. Cade greater than Tyrese propaganda will come to fruition this season. I mean, it was true last night. Halliburton was absolutely shit. 15 points, 6 of 18, 1 of 9 from 3. Of course, he did hit the dagger 3 though. When it mattered most, he hit the dagger 3. Only 4 assists. Not a great game. I will not be streaming the Mavs game tonight. I'll be in the building, folks. In the building. But either way, I thought this was a pretty entertaining game. This was the very first game of the night. We tuned in. Got to see my boy Cade Cunningham make some plays. That third quarter, that's that superstar flashes that you see. It's just putting it together consistently. He's still such a young player who's been hurt so much that he hasn't even really played. Hot take: Tyrese has been eating out of 2 months of great basketball for the entire year now. I mean, that is kind of true, and we all are, and I'm definitely guilty of this. Like, yeah, that's probably who he is the guy we saw in the first 2-3 months of the season last year before he hurt his hamstring. But that's giving him a lot of leeways. It's giving him a lot of leeway. Felt like a win for the Pistons. See, if I were a Pistons fan, or if I were talking to a Pistons fan, I would agree. I would say something very similar. However, Pistons fans don't want to hear that shit because it was the same exact thing last year. So I get their concerns. Let's talk about the Hawks. Hawks and Nets. This was an interesting game. Hawks and Nets ended up being one of the more entertaining games of the night. Now, it was a shit show. Make no mistake about it. The Hawks shot 46 free throws. The Nets shot 25. The Nets put up 43 threes. Again, something that we need to keep in mind. Cam Thomas, scoring title watch, 36 points on 14 of 27. Honestly, hit some pretty tough shots. Like, Cam Thomas did look good in this game. Dorian Finney-Smith made some plays in this game as well. Shout out to Dodo. And Jalen Wilson looked good in this game. So, from the Nets perspective, this is a win for the Nets right here. If you're a Nets fan, let's lose games like this. Cam Thomas, let's get him the funniest scoring title in the history of the NBA. 36 points, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Go and do it. Ben Simmons played in this game. It didn't look disastrous. Like, had some interesting flashes here and there, but was not good. Don't get it misconstrued. Was not good in this game, but had some interesting flashes. These are the type of games you want to lose. We're competitive. Fun things have happened. The guys that were maybe interested in trading had decent games. But Nick Claxton, who I do really like as a player, dirty play in this one. Dirty play going at Dyson Daniels. And let's bookmark Dyson Daniels. We're gonna spend some time talking about him in a second because wow, he looked good. But Nick Claxton gets ejected from this game in what was absolutely a dirty play. Dirty play. Hawks, Nets getting chippy. Dyson Daniels running out in transition, has an easy layup, goes up for a little scoop layup, and Claxton just clocks him. I meer, the windup was there and everything, midair, very dangerous play. And Claxton takes a few steps into the stands. You know, he's four or five rows deep. Dyson Daniels follows him. We're getting scrappy, baby. We're getting scrappy on opening night. Nets and Hawks, not the rivalry you would expect, but the rivalry we deserve, maybe, when you think about it. Just absolutely a dirty play. Come on, Nick Claxton. We don't need to be doing all of this. And there was even some more shoving in this game earlier, or later in the game. I forgot who it was specifically. This is the hard-hitting analysis you come for. But there was another layup, a fast break layup, where a Hawks player got fouled. I didn't think that one was dirty or anything like that, but obviously they were still upset about the Dyson Daniels play. And they felt as if there was intent behind that one as well, which I don't think there was. Thoughts on Zachary Richichet? Zachary Richichet was just kind of there. He had a great preseason. Opening night wasn't great. He did hit a 3. Bleacher Report had one of the strangest tweets I've seen, and it kind of has me thinking Bleacher Report might be on strict AI shit now. It's possible. I think they took the tweet down, actually, now that I'm looking through it. But it was Zachary Richichet's first bucket. He hit a 3. And the caption was, Zachary Richichet hits his first 3 in NBA history. I read that and I thought, this might be AI. I mean, who the hell talks like that? But for the Hawks, I saw quite a bit of things that I was hoping to see and I was expecting to see. Trae Young looked tremendous. 30 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 12 assists, only 3 turnovers. His guys, I mean, he's so good. Like he is so good. He's not appreciated enough. I hope that the Hawks, if the Hawks are a competitive team this year, I think people will really change their tune on Trae Young because nobody really expects them to be that good this year. Although I do think their roster is pretty talented. More talented than a lot of people think. But his passing bag is incredible, man. I mean, it's just, there's not a pass he can't make, which is just uber impressive because he's a smaller guard. He's not a Jokic. He's not a Luka. He's not 6'7". He's not 7 feet. He's a 6'1", 6'2" point guard who's running the pick and roll, throwing scoop lobs and hook pass lobs in traffic. Had a beautiful bounce pass in this game. Had an unbelievable, he's driving, he's going right. Defense is collapsing on him. Right-handed, behind the back pass, full speed. Just perfectly right into the shooter's pocket on the wing. I think it was DeAndre Hunter. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. Missed the 3. Highlight play, wasted. But he's a very fun player to watch. I will go down with this ship. I will always defend Trae Young. Always. These lobs are beautiful, man. Pinpoint accurate. It's just he's so good at it. He's such a great lob passer. We really are living in a time, and obviously the pick and roll is more of a thing in today's league than it has ever been. But I think we have maybe the 3 best pick and roll passers in history playing at the same time right now. I talk in hyperbole quite a bit. Obviously, Steve Nash would be up there as well. But Luka, Trae Young, and James Harden is about as good as it gets in terms of passing out of the pick and roll. Lob passes, pocket passes, kickouts, skip passes. I mean, all of those things that these guys do are absolutely tremendous. This will be a fun Hawks team to watch this year. No DeJounte Murray clogging shit up. This was the beautiful little bounce pass. It doesn't look that great in this highlight where they showed a replay of it, and the baseline angle is just absolutely nuts. Trae would maybe be more likable if he cut his hair. I like his beard look. I do. Obviously, the hair is a problem, but his beard look kind of works. Chris Paul as well. Yeah, Chris Paul as well for passing out of a pick and roll, obviously. Yeah, so maybe the 4 best all time. Jalen Johnson made a lot of plays in this one. Wasn't his best game. I'm really watching him. Obviously, he had a breakout season last year before getting hurt, but he's somebody that people think can win Most Improved Player, although, I don't know. I kind of feel like he had his breakout last year, but 11 points, 4 of 9, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, a block, 6 turnovers, though. He looked pretty good. Probably shaking off a little bit of rust. Okongwu is also one of the big stories here. We've been waiting for an Okongwu moment for quite some time. The idea being Clint Capella is getting older. They might even look to trade Clint Capella. Okongwu makes him expendable. The problem is, especially last year, this really came to the forefront. Okongwu just kind of feels like this weird tweener, which makes it difficult to trade Capella because Capella's, true 7-foot center or around there. But Okongwu last night was awesome. 28 points, a career high, 11 of 12 from the field. He had 4 offensive rebounds as well. His chemistry with Trae Young looked phenomenal. And if Okongwu is somebody, we talked about players earlier who could take steps forward, but if Okongwu is somebody who takes a couple steps forward this season, That does change things a little bit for this Hawks team. That obviously makes Clint Capella much more tradable, and there are definitely teams who would knock on Clint Capella, especially because I think his contract is much more tolerable and easy to swallow now. I mean, the Pelicans are a team, and we'll talk about the Pelicans here in a bit, but the Pelicans are a team that could call. Yeah, Okongwu had 3 blocks as well. I mean, he did everything. He did the things that you would expect Okongwu to do. Now, the thing is, I will say this is not a big Nets team, right? This is kind of a team that is sort of perfect for Okongwu to step in. Claxton's not a very big player. They're starting 5. They're running Ben Simmons as the 5. So this is not a team with a lot of size or talent. I mean, it's just to call it what it is. Not a lot of size or talent. How washed is Clint? I mean, he's just Clint Capella. Nothing more, nothing less at this juncture. Again, we talked about Richeche. I thought he was all right. Rookie game. Kind of what you expect to see from a rookie early on. Maybe the biggest story of this game for me, especially from the Hawks' perspective. Damn, Dyson Daniels looked good. Damn, he looked good. 15 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. That's great. 2 assists, cool. That's fine. The offensive stuff is cool. That's all gravy. Defensively, Dyson Daniels was a menace last night. 5 steals and a block. Defensive playmaker. We talked about it a little bit in the offseason. This feels like the perfect backcourt player for Trae Young. If you want to maximize Trae Young, I don't think it's a player like DeJounte Murray, even though, yes, I did think it was going to be him at the time. It's a player like Dyson Daniels who can hold his own offensively as he continues to develop, but defensively, hard-nosed, gets after it, will take the other team's best guard, makes plays, and make plays he did. I'm excited to see this season from Dyson Daniels. Didn't really get a lot of opportunity with the Pelicans, and to be fair to the Pelicans, didn't really make the most of his opportunity once he got in. I made some plays here and there, but never really stood out. Had some moments for the Australian national team over the summer. You guys know I'm a sucker for some Olympic stuff. But he's got incredibly active hands. He's active in passing lanes. He's active in help. Great hands. Where he'll dig at the ball, poke it free. Little reach around, steals, pokeaways. But if you're not strong with the ball around him, he's going to steal that shit. Yeah, KCP would be a great backcourt mate next to Trae Young as well. I mean, look at how many steals. We just watched all of Dyson Daniels' steals. Like 4 of his 5 steals were pokeaways from behind. Oh, my God. That Nick Claxton foul is nuts. Like, anytime I see it, that's one of those where the moment that play happened, flagrant 2. There's no way that wasn't a flagrant 2. So a nice win for the Hawks. I know the score's close, and people in my chat last night were like, well, if the Hawks are going to be good, you'd like to beat the Nets by a little bit more. The Nets will be a little bit frisky. They got vets on this team. They'll be a pretty solid defense. They're not like the Wizards, who are just shit. They will be shit. The Nets will. Don't get me wrong, but this start a rivalry. We shall see. I mean, I'm here for another rivalry. All right, what games have we not talked about yet? There were a few more blowouts. The Cavaliers absolutely annihilate the Raptors. Not a great feeling if you're a Raptors fan seeing that one. Emmanuel quickly got hurt in this game, which is just tough because RJ Barrett's already injured. Mobley, the story of this game, only 27 minutes for Evan Mobley. 25 points. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Looked incredible defensively. Was locked in offensively. Plus 31 in 27 minutes. I mean, this was just a rout. This was a slaughter. There's not a lot to really talk about this game. Not a good sign for the Raptors. And also, I will say this. I did catch glimpses of this game afterwards, after the fact. Scotty Barnes, that was abysmal. I'm a believer in you. I think you have an incredibly high upside. I think that the future of this Raptors team is a little bit brighter than some other people would say, mainly because of you, because I do think you have that type of upside if you can tap into it. Last night, opening night, home opener, was fucking embarrassing. I mean, 9 points, 3 of 14. That's all one thing. I thought his body language was shit and his effort was terrible. Cannot happen, man. Absolutely cannot happen. Grady Dick had an incredible finish in this game, by the way. Going baseline, a little floater over Mobley. So, shout out to him. But Scotty Barnes, you're on watch, buddy. You're on watch. The Raptors might be way worse than I thought they would be. That was not encouraging. Nice win for the Cavs, though. Bulls and Pelicans, so you got to feel for the Pelicans, man. I mean, this is such a cursed-ass team. Yeah, Dick had some finishes, man. That Dick was finishing. I mean, that wasn't even subtle. That's why I don't really make Grady Dick jokes, because it's hard to like make one without it sounding corny and cheesy. That one was corny and cheesy, so I apologize. The Pelicans beat the Bulls 123-111 on opening night. No Zion in this game. He was out due to an illness. Pelicans still get a win. They look really good, so you got to feel great if you're a Pelicans fan. 33 points from B.I. He was a monster last night. An absolute monster. This is the Brandon Ingram that we expect, and trade rumors all summer long, and he's going to get traded, this, that. He's not happy here. Oh, man, it's good to see him ball out, huh? How about that? C.J. McCollum played well in this game. DeJounte Murray, 10 assists, 1 turnover. I didn't think he was necessarily great in this game, but he did what we brought him in to do, played with a lot of energy. It felt like we actually had like a real point guard for the first time in a little bit. Yves Missy off the bench, 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting. He looked really good, was the best rookie last night across the NBA, believe it or not. He's been the best rookie in the first few games of the season for these teams. But fuck, this team is cursed beyond belief. Because moments after this game ended, Shams Charania, DeJounte Murray has a fractured left hand and will miss an extended period of time. Womp, 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 womp. Tough news. And this does affect them quite a bit, obviously. Hopefully Zion's back soon. I mean, what type of illness are we talking about with Zion? Is this a Deebo Samuel pneumonia situation? I don't know. But man, tough news. I mean, I do think you had to feel really good after that game if you're a Pelicans fan. But this is exactly why I've pinned them to be the team from hell this year. I pinned them to be the team from hell every year. Just because there's just always something, man. And it's fucked up. It does suck. But there's always something. They only turned the ball over 11 times last night. 90% from the free throw line. I mean, they played a really great basketball game. And then that happens. From the Chicago Bulls perspective, they don't shoot well from 3. 21 turnovers. Giddey didn't look tremendous. Didn't look great, didn't inspire a lot of confidence. I do think Zach LaVine played pretty well. I think, honest to God, if you're the Bulls and a Bulls fan, really what you're mainly hoping for this year, Giddey shows you something that gives you a little bit of hope. And then beyond that, like Zach LaVine plays well enough that some team bites and trades. That some team bites and you trade for him. Like, that's the hope and dream right now. I just got a FaceTime call. At 10 o'clock in the morning. LaVine did have 7 turnovers, but he had some high flashes and moments. And I promise you this. The Lakers will talk themselves into it. I promise you. I guarantee it. And it might work, actually. I saw some Lakers people on Twitter that were talking about really needing an explosive guard to like make their offense really click. They just bookmark that. Okay? It's really got to suck for some of these teams. Like, if you're a Pistons fan, yeah, it sucks you lost. But you know what? There is enough that you could be pretty excited about and have some hope. The Nets. Yeah, you lost. You're going to be bad this year. But, man, you know what? You showed enough. It's like, you know what? I might actually watch some games this year. The Raptors, it's like, what's the point of living? What's the point of watching this team's games? The Raptors, is this what our season's gonna be? The Bulls, is this what our season's gonna be like? Like, fuck, this is gonna suck. The Blazers, oh my god, the Blazers looked like shit. 139-104, the Warriors win. A horrible game from Jonathan Kuminga. A nothing game from Steph Curry, really. He did have 10 assists, though, in 25 minutes. His playmaking was good. A literal nothing game from Brandon Podziemski, who scored 0 points, but was a team high plus 34. And the Warriors win 139-104. Wiggins looked good. That's a big one. Wiggins played well in this game. Buddy Hield was tremendous. He's had a great preseason. He carries that into a great opening night. There is a Buddy Hield cycle that we're all aware of that, Warriors fans are setting themselves up for very big disappointment with Buddy Hield, but he's playing very well right now. So you got to give him props there. Moses Moody played well. Trace Jackson Davis was very good. And they shot 41% from 3 on 48 attempts. And the Trailblazers looked horrendous. Scoot Henderson was okay. Just hoping to see a little bit more from him this season. I thought Denny Avdija played pretty well. Outside of that, though, yeah. This will be a stinky team. They'll be competing for bottom seed in the West. Another team that will be probably competing for bottom seed in the West is the Utah Jazz, who played a competitive game last night. I mean, this is the Utah Jazz MO right here. We're a frisky team. We're very well coached. We have a very good player in Lauri Markkanen. We actually need to actively try to tank, or else we will be too good and just be living with the 10th overall pick over and over and over. But the Grizzlies beat the Jazz 126-124. This was a fun and exciting game down the stretch. We were watching it on playback. Well, how about Jay Huff, huh? Knocking down big threes. 3 of 5 from 3. He's got such a quick release. He's not afraid to shoot that thing and let that thing fly. But obviously the big storyline for the Grizzlies in this game was Santi Aldama, who had 27 points, 10 of 16 from the field, 5 of 10 from deep. No, I mean, Santi Aldama was great in this game. But the big story was Ja Morant, who is back after missing pretty much all of last season. Only played 9 games last year. I thought it was an interesting game. You look at his stat line, 22 points, 7 of 12. Did have 10 assists, but 12 shots, 7 of 12. Good efficiency, but nothing too crazy. I thought he was awesome in this game. He made huge plays for them down the stretch, and he has that factor where we're watching this game and the Jazz are clawing their way back into it. They're hitting threes. Their crowd's going crazy. They take the lead in the fourth quarter. And it just felt when Ja Morant had the ball and it was down in crunch time that they were going to win, that the Jazz were going to pull it out, that the Grizzlies were going to pull it out. They were going to figure out a way to make it work, and Ja Morant was going to get a bucket or an assist. That's what it felt like down the stretch. And when Ja Morant gets downhill, obviously he's such a nightmare. He's such a freight train. He's so athletic. Right, his hang time is ridiculous. So he can contort his body midair. He can, change hands midair. He absorbs contact maybe better than anybody in the NBA. Bumps off of shot contests and rim protectors and finishes around them with hook shots. I mean, it's incredible. And then the skill that he is really great at is jumping, and the jump pass is always risky, but jumping, staying in the air, getting the attention of the defense, and dropping it off last second. I mean, he had 3 or 4 of those, it felt like, in the fourth quarter, where the Jazz thought they contained Ja Morant. They had bodies. They sent bodies at him. They were playing physically, and just last second, he would dump off to a cutter. Dump off to a cutter for an easy basket. He would drive. He would get fouled. I mean, he looked unstoppable at times in this game. Only attempted 2 threes. But I thought Ja Morant played really well. And he's such a fun and exciting player. So it is great to have him back in the NBA. And Santi Aldama actually did have a great game in this one. I know I was trolling a little bit. A little tiny troll. We troll a little bit here. But he actually did legitimately have a great game. And Zach Edey, obviously, another one of the biggest stories here, started and looked rough. I mean, there was definitely times where Edey, looked huge. He had 4 offensive rebounds in this game. Lauri Markkanen's a real 7-footer, And there was Larry Markkinen looked like a child at times next to Zach Edey when they were standing next to one another. But he did foul out in 15 minutes, and it was a bad foul too. I mean, some of it's rookie stuff as well, but he might have a foul. He might have a foul problem throughout his career. But that last foul he had was just horrible. Swiping down at a rebound, just all arms. 1 of 5 from the free throw line. Just not a very good opening night performance from Zach Edey. I think he'll settle in and be fine. And if you're the Jazz, if I'm a Jazz fan, this is more of just what you want to see. Close, fun, competitive games. We really do want to tank, though. We finally want to give ourselves a great position, put ourselves in a great position to potentially land a Cooper flag, right? That would require losing quite a bit of games, and they're just too well coached and too talented. Walker Kessler, obviously Larry popped off. We'll talk about him in a second. Walker Kessler looked really good last night. It's been such a weird career arc for him. Since his rookie season, we've been waiting for him to return to that form. Felt like maybe did Walker Kessler peak as a rookie? I mean, you never want to be that guy. But he looked really good last night. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, 5 blocks. Looked stronger. I mean, that was the thing the Jazz broadcast kept mentioning it, that he's that he put on some muscle in the offseason, and he looked stronger. I mean, contested rebounds, catching the ball in traffic, going up in traffic, finishing strong. Good stuff from Walker Kessler. That is encouraging. Larry Markkinen was incredible last night. 35 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. This is a great basketball player. A great basketball player who I hope the Jazz either try to go for it soon or trade Markkinen, because he's just kind of on this weird fucking Jazz team. They're not horrible. They're not terrible. But Larry Markkinen is through and through a championship player. 100%. He probably can't be a championship team's number 1. Probably not even the number 2, for being honest. If the pieces are right, I could see him being a number 2. But my God, if he gets out, if he's on a team that's contending at the highest level, he's going to be just an unbelievable difference maker in his current form. And he was incredible again last night. Just a really good player. And honest to God, right? I think a lot of people have this preconceived notion. A lot of casuals out there. White dude playing in Utah, might not be the most exciting. He's a very exciting player to watch. He's athletic. He gets downhill. He finishes above the rim, shoots threes. Really good defender. Yeah, 27 years old. I mean, at a certain point, we gotta get going. They say they love Markkinen. We'll do right by him. Damn it. Keontae George was a fiasco last night. I got a lot of Keontae George stock. I'm not selling. I'm not panicking. We're not worried about it. But, damn. He was a fiasco. 3 of 18 from the field, 12 points. 5 of 9 from the free throw line. Yeesh. That was a tough one. That was a tough pill to swallow right there. Again, the 43's bookmark, the threshold. Memphis Grizzlies, 43s. Let's see. Pretty much every single team has played besides the Wizards, who hilariously, why are we waiting until Thursday for the Wizards to play? Pretty much every team except like 6 have played so far. Let's look at the 3-point. You don't want to jump to too many conclusions in a couple of games, but look at that. 7 of the 24 teams that have played so far have put up over 43s. Again, only one team did that last year. The Boston Celtics attempted 61 fucking threes. That's just absolutely insane. But just something to monitor. These 3-pointers, they're going to be flying. The Mavericks play tonight. I think they're a team that might put up 43s. The Thunder play tonight. I think that they have a very good chance of getting 43s up there. The Celtics might attempt 100 threes. I wonder, the Celtics have reached this point. They're playing the Wizards tonight. The Wizards probably need to shoot 80 threes if they have a chance of winning this game. But it's like a 2K. Sometimes, I used to do this in 2K, where my player would become so good, and I've already won championships or whatever, where I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to score 0 points tonight and have 30 assists. Like that's the challenge I'm going to have. I think the Celtics have reached that point where they're like, hey guys, let's see if we can beat the Wizards shooting only threes. Nobody dunk, nobody layup, no mid-range jumpers. We're only going to shoot threes. I wonder how good they'd look. Anyway, slate of games tonight. We have Spurs and Mavericks, TNT, 6:30 p.m. I will be in the building. I will be in attendance. I am excited. Texas Showdown, Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic. How can you not love it? Klay Thompson's regular season debut. Chris Paul's regular season debut for the Spurs. Oh! Come on, man. Stephon Castle's NBA debut. This is going to be a blast. Celtics and Wizards. Boston's only 13.5-point favorites. Guys, I would hammer that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to imagine a world in which the Wizards lose this game by less than 13 points. Thunder and Nuggets, a great opening night game as well for those two teams. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And Timberwolves Kings is also a pretty fun game. Timberwolves coming off of a disappointing loss on Tuesday night. They go 0-2. That's not a fun start to the season. But those are your, we got a couple matchups against teams that are supposed to be good. Celtics and Wizards, I mean, that's a barn burner. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. I will be at the Mavs game tonight, so if you see me, please say hi. If you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you leave us a review. 5-star review, please, and thank you. Talk to you guys later. Folks, that was just me ending the Spotify portion of the stream. I need to watch the Game 7 doc. I need to watch it. I have not watched it yet. This tastes like shit, by the way. Ugh. Damn. That's fucking terrible. All right, I'm going to go work on this Hornets video. Sadly, Early's back. We got nearly 300 people in here, which is kind of a lot. That was more than I was expecting. But I'm excited for tonight, folks. Damn, I'm excited. I'm genuinely so excited. Fuck. Can't wait to be there. Cannot wait to be there. Score prediction for Mavs and how many three Klay make attempt. I'm going to guess Mavs win 124-101. No, sorry. 124-111. I think they pull away at the end. I think it's a little uncomfortable for most of the game and they pull away at the end. And I think that I think Klay has a good game. I really do. What is this? Can I listen to this on here? Oh, that's a heavy chain. Wow. Hey, Demon is home. Demon is home. All right, folks. Thank you all for coming out. So excited the NBA is back. So fucking excited. I'll have a video dropping later today. Please, guys. Please give it a like and a subscribe and a comment. Thank you all for coming out. All the OGs, guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Thursday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. Thank you so much. New subscribers, I promise you guys not regret it. Donations, members, you never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. I love you all. I will talk to you all later. I'll be in the building tonight. If you see me, say what's up. Hard to miss. I'll be the one that's surrounded by security. Because they're following me. Not because I'm getting escorted out of the building, but because they're following me. Just don't want to manifest the wrong things. All right. Love you all. Talk to you all later. Video dropping today. I'll be on lockdown after the Mavs game, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning. Assuming I'm not like hungover or something. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm getting myself into tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. Actually, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not sure. All right. Love you all. Talk to you all later. Bye.